how would you recommend balancing, revising all of the subjects? So let's go to Bethan first, if that's okay, hear a student perspective on that. So yeah, there's a lot to kind of break down in terms of your subjects. How did you remember how you kind of balance that out?
So as Jeremy just sort of said, looking at the subjects that you're maybe finding a bit more difficult and prioritizing them first, because I think everyone has stronger subjects. I know for myself, I enjoyed, essay subjects a lot more. I really liked English. I found it a lot easier than, say, maths. So I know at the start of the year, I tended to not revise maths as much because I didn't enjoy it. I wasn't getting the questions right, so I just felt a bit disheartened. So really have a go, because I found that after Christmas, I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna really go for do like a lot of maths work until I feel a lot more confident with it. And I think that really helped. So yeah, prioritizing ones that you find more difficult, but making sure you're doing a bit on all of them. Don't, just leave one of them because you're like, oh, it's easy, I'm good at history, I won't revise it. Everything needs a bit of work, but some things you'll know better than anyone else what you need to work on a bit more.
Good shout. Let's mix up. We'll go back to Matthew, if that's okay, Matthew. So that question again was, what's your advice for balancing revision for the different subjects that students are going to be taking?
Yeah, I think, like Bethan said, little and often, really. So it's really important to, yes, of course, work on all your subjects. If there are some that you're struggling with, then they should probably get more attention. But I think little and often. So even if you are very confident with French, still make sure you're building up your knowledge, you're consolidating your vocabulary and so on. And again, it all comes down to planning ahead and knowing where you want to go, what sort of vision you've got. Yeah.
Cool, good, cool. Jaden, anything you can add to that at all?
Yeah, so something a bit different. Obviously, you should focus on what you are struggling on the most. But another way you could do it is you could write a list of, for example, the subject you enjoy the most and go down the list into what you least enjoy. And then you could pick from the top of the list and from the bottom of the list, and you could work that way. But I also want to talk about how it's important to keep maintaining your actual life outside of education, because I think that's the best way to make sure you stay stress-free and stay on top of everything by doing a good amount of exercise, keeping a good balanced diet, and socializing with like friends and family, and just doing what you normally do along with like relaxing and stuff. I think that's a very good way of balancing everything, and it really takes the pressure off and gets you refreshed for your next time you start to do work.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, you're right. Balance isn't just about the subjects, is it? It's about the whole life revision balance and life school balance of over this term, making sure you get that right, so you don't burn yourself out or just become really negative about it. Is trying to make sure you get that balance right as well as the subject. It's really good juxtaposition on that. Thank you very much. Jeremy, you there? You've got any thoughts about kind of balancing subjects? What you tend to tell students?
Yeah, well, I think unfortunately Jaden's just stolen my point, but I'll try and build on it a little bit there. So even when you're producing your revision timetables, if you do go down that route and you do produce one, make sure that it's realistic and you don't just put everything in. You're going to be revising all day, every day. And two, you make sure that you put in your breaks, you put in opportunities to exercise, you put in specific opportunities where you're not going to be doing any work. Because that'll make it more sustainable. One of the biggest issues with students is burnout, and if they peak too soon, then that's not much good when the exams are in the summer. So you need to make sure you look after yourself and you get yourself to a prime sort of position for May, June.